Alright, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of the Norco build. If you haven't checked out part 1, check out part 1. Yeah, I'm going to be fixing up the frame and fixing the shifter in this one. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Cheers. Alright, so yeah, cleaning the frame up. First I just used a nylon brush, brushed it all down, tried to wipe it. And then, yeah, started just scrubbing away with a Scotch pad and WD-40 to get rid of most of the gunk, and that seemed to work pretty well. You can see the eyelets here. What I did was, yeah, just WD-40 and a Scotch pad, and I used a wire brush as well. Just be careful, your wire brush, you are gonna scratch your frame a little bit, but for me the frame was pretty beat up, so I thought it was better just to get the corrosion off. Yeah, you can see me here trying to get this corrosion off. So yeah, basically from all the tips from everyone, I worked out that this corrosion is actually underneath the clear coat. So you can see here I try sanding it off, but yeah, it actually goes through the clear coat. So there's really no way to get rid of it unless you kind of sand it down. And then at this point I was like, do I need to strip the frame down and, you know, be a pretty big job, strip it down, or do I just run it rat? So I decided to, you know what, I'll try and clean up best I can and then see how it looks. So yeah, you can see me here getting all the stickers off, just sanding it down. Here sanding some of the corrosion off. Here's before and then after. Yeah, you can see it's not too much different, but just clean it up a bit. Still pretty rat, but at least, you know, most of the corrosion is kind of off. Yeah, and then I just repeated this process with all the other bits. So yeah, you can see these eyelets, try to get most of the rust off here. And then at this point, after working on it for a little bit, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to run it rat for now. Maybe I'll strip it completely at a later date. But for now, I'm just going to run it rat style. Yeah, I didn't film all the sanding as well because it's kind of boring. But what I did was I used 600 grit sandpaper, and sometimes I'd use 800 and 1000 to clean it up, but mostly 600 grit, wet and dry, just to sand all the kind of corrosion off. And then just use WD-40 to kind of protect it. Here you can see before, and then yeah, and then after as well. So yeah, I just kept doing this on all the bits. You can see, yeah, this other side of the head tube cleaned up. You can see the bottom bracket was pretty cruddy in there, and I cleaned that out as well. Yeah, and then got rid of basically I got rid of all the stickers that were warning stickers, and that size sticker, I didn't really want to be looking at that when I was riding the bike, so I got rid of it. And then here, yeah, just like wiping the frame down with WD-40, but that was basically it. But yeah, it was a lot more sanding than I thought. So it actually took a bit of work. It just looks fast on video because I didn't film all the bits. But yeah, here's the overall frame. Yeah, I think it's I'm pretty happy with how it looks at the moment. It looks a little bit better on camera than in real life. But since I'm going to be, you know, riding this at the jumps, and yeah, it's probably gonna case it a few times. I already cased it 3 times in one ride, so yeah, I figured, you know, there's no need to make it look super fresh at this point. But yeah, this is the frame. Yeah, pretty happy with it. I also cleaned out the headset cups as well. But yeah, the frame's ready to go. Alright, fixing the shifter. So from the last video, yeah, I mentioned that it wasn't working, so I had to fix it. But here, I'm just showing you how, yeah, it doesn't really shift. You can like push it and it will shift one time, but then it won't shift to the 3rd chain ring. So the first thing to do is there's these screws on the back, and yeah, I just put WD-40 in there just to help it. And then yeah, eventually they came loose. Yeah, just make sure you're patient with this because the plastic can be real brittle because it's an old shifter. Mine was real brittle and some little bits kind of fell off, which I'll super glue back on. But yeah, you don't want to snap the thing completely off. So yeah, just remove those 3 screws here. I removed this top part just to see inside to see if it was gunked up or not. But you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Yeah, you can see this little plastic bit fell off. I'll glue that back in. Yeah, basically, so what you want to do is you want to oil these little springs and pivot points in the shifter, because that's when you shift a shifter, that's where the teeth is going to click and hold on. So if they're not moving freely and they're not moving well, it's not going to catch on that unit in the middle, and then it's not going to shift. So yeah, I just put WD-40 in there, just wiggled around a bit, just make sure it was okay. So yeah, this is just showing you kind of live how it works. But you can see, yeah, a little bit of tension here. But yeah, it's just these pivot points. You can see, yeah, there's a little spring, and then there's a little metal latch, which latches on to kind of like a rigid, yeah, spinning thing. But yeah, basically you can see now that it's shifting, and that's basically all I had to do. Just had to kind of clean it and put some WD-40 in there just to make sure it cut through all the old gunk, and that was it. So yeah, if you have an old shifter and it doesn't work, sometimes it's this simple just to fix it. Other times you'll see in my other videos I've taken the whole shifter apart, but just for this one it was pretty straightforward. So yeah, that was it. Not much to do on this one, so I end up just soaking the whole thing in WD-40, and what I'm going to do is just lube it up and then close it off, and that's it. But yeah, pretty simple for this one. So yeah, just showing you the pivot points here again, and yeah, they're where the latches go. Usually they're the problem. Yeah, so hope it works for you. Alright, so second part of shifter, the display screen, you can see it was kind of dirty, so I wanted to clean this as well. You know, if you want, you could just run it dirty, but I have the shifter part here as well, so yeah, why not? So yeah, basically, same thing again, I put WD-40 in screws, and then just, there's these 2 top screws that you want to take off, and then on this bit with the display, there's 2 more screws at the back. So what you want to do is just screw those off. Pretty straightforward. So yeah, once again, just be careful because the plastic could be brittle. And then here you want to open it up. And what I did was I used a razor blade, and then I just pressed it into the side where that seam is, on both sides. Again, be careful here because you don't want to, you know, leave marks on your shifter display. And then what you should be able to do is kind of just squeeze it and then pop it off from the sides. Just hold it tight, and then it should come off. Yeah, and then here's the internals. So what I did here was I basically just cleaned everything, run it underwater, cleaned it out, cleaned the display, and then just let it dry. And then here you can see the bits. So there's the case, there's the little glass display, which is plastic, not glass, and then there's this little spring. And what you want to do is put this spring on this little circle bit here, and then you want to push it all the way to the left-hand side, and then get this little metal indicator. And yeah, there's a little notch on the side of the indicator, and you just want to make sure the spring sits on that, and then you just push it down so it sits in that little groove. And then you have this little black thing here. There's a little notch on the black thing, and you want that notch to go into that fork area of the indicator. And then that's basically it. You put the display in, And then when you're putting in the case, just make sure it fits over that black thing goes through the holes. And yeah, that's it. So what that does is basically when you turn it, the spring should help it spring back. You can see here, I'm just showing you. Spring back like that. And yeah, that's it. Basically put your screws back in. Pretty straightforward. And that's it. Nice and clean. Easy to do as well. Alright, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, shout out to everyone on Instagram who sent me tips. Appreciate that. Yeah, help me work out what to do with the frame. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Peace.